All right. So, yesterday, let's get back to the this guy right here. All right. Now, tell me again, Connor.
No.
All right, let's take a look quickly at 44. All right. Now, 44 is good. All right. And the reason why I say 44 is good is because you have to do several things. All right. And one of those things is you have to be able to solve for the equation to find the slope. Do you hear me? Now, please listen. This negative 5x is in the wrong spot. So what do I have to do?
You have to put it on the right side and then put the 10 on the left side.
Nope. 2y equals...
Oh, you have to put the...
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let's do it one at a time. I moved the 5x over because it's negative. I moved it to the right side. You with me? I'm isolating the y. I'm isolating the y. All right, so in order to isolate the y, I have to now divide everything through by what? 2. Do you hear me? When I divide by 2, I get y equals 5 halves x plus 5. You with me on this? So what's the slope of this line? And I'm not just talking to Connor. I'm talking to everybody else who doesn't know.
-2.
All right? The slope of that line is what? 5 over 2. Right? Now, I'm not doing that yet. I didn't ask for the perpendicular. You're right? But you are correct. Now we're trying to find the slope of the perpendicular. All you have to do is take the reciprocal and change the sign. So what is it? No. What is it?
Wait,
Negative 2 over 5. Now, again, stop staring. Something should be writing on your iPad.
Okay, wait.
You're not learning by just watching me do all the problems.
I'm like good up till there.
Now we're getting ready to, I'm going to show you the next step
maybe
now.
Just put it in.
Now you're just putting into the
Okay,
formula.
got it.
What? You okay? Ace? Connor? Michael?
Yeah.
All right. Now, writing the equation. Y minus, what's the y value? -1. So it's going to be plus 1 equals times.
X minus 5.
There you have it. That's all there is to it. What?
If you take up +1.
Plus 1 because it's minus a -1. Minus a -1. You good, Max?
Yeah.
Drew? Maxine, you still with me today?
Yes.
All right. Now we have to write it in point or slope intercept. So I have to distribute the -2/5. All right. So that becomes y plus 1 equals -2/5 x. Now, again, negative times the negative is a positive. Now, to me personally, I would do 5 divided by 5. 1 times 2, 2. Then you subtract 1. Yes, sir.
I don't understand why you got 2.
Okay, so you're just having troubles with the fractions, okay?
Yeah.
So I promise you, just pay attention. And now that's one less thing you have to worry about. It's very simple. I'm just doing -2/5 times 5 over 1. Now, how is that 2? Shh, no one's asking you. How is that 2? There you go, man. Think back to, seriously, I'm not kidding. I'm doing this with my 6th graders. And I'm really not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to just say, look, man, we've done this in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. We've reviewed all the fractions. All right? So I know it's a review. Now, if you don't know what I'm saying, speak up. Right? So the 5s become a what? A 1. Right? And now it's just 2 times 1. And negative times the negative. That's it. That's all there is. That's how simple. Do we have any other doubts about that? Everybody happy? All right. Today's lesson is the easiest thing we're going to do all year. So I'm not too concerned about today's lesson, but does anybody need me to do just one more? All right. Listen, if you're unsure, I'm telling you, that's why I put the videos up, guys. I would rather you do the odds over than do the evens. All right, because you know they're correct. However, in this worksheet, what did I do? I put all the answers so you could see, if you're correct or not at the end. All right, so now let's go ahead and we're doing the next worksheet, which is inverse functions. All right, so pull up 4.7. And I made too many worksheets today. I was just having fun. All right, so you'll see what I'm saying. The inverse functions is, listen to me, it's the easiest thing we're going to do all year. All right. So has everybody got that up? Everybody got it up? All right. Now, listen, it's hard to just pay attention. So I know it's old school, but pull out a pencil and piece of paper. And then what you can do is you can take a picture of what we did, and then you don't have to redo it. All right, that's how you take care of your problems. All right? And then when your iPad gets up and going, then put it in there. All right. Listen to me. When someone tells you to take the inverse, listen to me. When someone tells you to take the inverse of a function, you're literally just switching the x and the y. The x becomes the y, and y becomes the x. Now, in math, right now, all right, it's just something that's easy. But in the future, it's important that you can understand what inverse is. All right? But right now, we're just starting out at the basic level. Right? The only thing you need to know is you switch the x and y. That's it. All right? So when I tell you it's that easy, it really is that easy. All right? So what would be the inverse of question number 1? 7, 4. And then it would be what? And then it would be, and then it would be, that's it. No excuses. That's all there is. You're right. I told you it's the easiest thing we're going to do all year. All right? Now, let's take a look at question number 2. Hold on a second. For question number 2, let's have CC, tell me what the answer is. Good. Good. And now, that's if they're listed as an ordered pair. She's perfect on that. Anybody have any questions? That's simple, I told you. All right. Now, question number 3. Now, this is in a what type of format? It's in a table format. All right. So to find the inverse, I still am just doing what? Switching them. So I like to write the x's first, and then I like to write the y's first or second. Wow. Everybody see that? It's the same principle. It's just what? A different form, right? The first one was ordered pairs. The second was considered a table. All right? So now I want you to do that real quick with numbers 4 and 5. With numbers 4 and 5. Bella, tell me about 4. What would it be?
The x's are 3, 9, 13, 18, 19, and the y's are -8, -2, 2, 6, 8.
Simple, simple, simple. Boys, any questions? Now remember, I'm fussing at you because I want you to ask me a question as soon as you get off track. It's not doing any good to wait until I get down to the end before you say, I'm not sure what you're doing. All right, Connor Drinkard. You got that. All right, did you write them all down? All right. Now, the only one that's hard, some kids say is hard, are finding the inverse of the lines. Well, that's just because, you know, they're not thinking clearly. All you have to do is switch the what? X and Y, right? But you can't just switch the X and Y of a line, right? So now watch what I'm trying to tell you. So this point right here is on the graph, and this point right there is on the graph. Does everybody see that? So this point right here is 0, 6, and the second point was 6, 4. Does everybody agree with that? Now notice they're tick marks. They count by twos. All right, does everybody see that? Come on now. Luca, what are you looking like I'm crazy for?
Well, no, I'm not like, I'm trying to see how did you get 0, 6?
All I did, Luca, was I looked at this point right here and said that's 0, 6.
Oh, okay.
And then I looked at this point right here and said, well, that's 6, 4.
Okay.
Now, the easiest way to do that now is to take those 2 points and do what? Reverse them or switch them. So you're now going to pick a different color and you're going to say,
Oh, like 6, 0.
now you plot the point 6, 0.
Oh,
And then you plot the point what?
4, 6.
4, 6.
Shouldn't it be like
Shh. And now you graph those lines. Graph the line that contains those 2 points. Bless you. Yes.
So you only how to find the points is the ones that are like matching.
Yeah, exactly. Like
the
you
one
could,
next to it is not like.
yeah, you would want to pick the one that's exact. So like this one right here. I could also choose this point right here, right?
we want to stay positive.
But nothing else. I can't pick this point right there because I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay, I was so confused.
You with me, right? No, I just find the points that are on the graph perfectly. All right? Now I'm going to go to number 7. All right? And I'm trying to find 2 points that are on the graph perfectly. I see this one right here is perfect. Does everybody agree with me? And then I have to find another one. Uh-oh. I found another one right here. Does everybody see those 2 points?
Oh.
All right, now that I found those 2 points, I want you to write down what those points are. The first point was -4, -6, and the second point was -2 and what?
6, sorry.
6, for those of you who are blind.
Hey.
-2 and 6. Now, to graph the inverse, I just graph those points after I find the what? Inverse. So what points now? I want you to write down, what would the inverse be? What would be the 2 points?
-6, -4, 6, -2.
That's how simple. So now graph -6, -4, and then 6, -2. And then graph the line. That's considered the inverse. All right, that's considered the inverse. I don't need that. All right, pretty easy, correct? All right. Now, I was going to not show you this, but I'm just going to go ahead anyway. All right, look right here, guys. Anytime you graph the inverse, all right, it's always reflected on the line y equals x. So watch this, right? If you were to draw y equals x, everybody see those are mirror images of each other now?
Oh yeah.
Everybody see that? All right. So if I looked at question number 6 and I draw y equals x, everybody see it's the mirror image. All right. It's actually kind of cool, and you'll use it. All right. You'll use it in the future. Okay. This is very, very important information. However, right now it's just me kind of telling you what the rules are. Okay. That's all it is. Telling the rules. All right. So now let's find this point right here. What's that point? 0, -2, and then let's find the next point, which to me is right here, which is what?
8.
8 comma 4. So now I have what? If I'm doing the inverse, what's the inverse points?
-2, 0.
-2, 0, and 4, 8. So I graphed -2, 0, and then 4, 8. That's easy. Go.
Does it have to be on the exact point
No,
So
no,
you
no.
can choose any, like,
You-
if there's more than 2, you can just choose.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't matter which 2 you choose, right? But you have to pick 2, right? If you picked, which one did you pick that's different than mine?
I choose the one by
So what is that point? I'm asking you. -8, -8? Well, guess what? See, it's the same. Do you understand what I'm saying now, right? Doesn't matter as long as you pick 2 of them. All right. Now, listen, guys. That's it. That's very easy. All right, very easy. So again, now what I'm going to do is for the next one last type of inverse is now you have the equation of the line. Now I have to show you how to write the inverse if I was given the equation of the line. All right, now again, this is called functional notation. And f of x is the same as what? Y. Thank you, whoever said that. So what I want you to do is I want you to, underneath number 1, write y equals 4x minus 3, right? And what's the rule for finding the inverse? Switch the x and y, right? So x equals 4y minus 3. Now why this is really important too, it's again, it's helpful. It's helpful when you solve for y now, quickly.
How did you change it from y equals 4x to x equals 4y?
I switched for every y, I replace it with x, and for every x, I replace it with y.
And then also, how did you get the y?
Because f of x means the same as y.
Oh, okay.
F of x means the same as y. All right? So now I just have to solve for y, right? So to solve for y, I have to move the -3, right? When I move the -3, it becomes, so x plus 3 equals 4y. And now I divide everything through by what? 4. Now, when I divide by 4, I want you to get in the habit of writing it as y equals 1/4 x plus 3/4. Now, again, some of you are not understanding fractions. So if you're not understanding fractions, tell me, I don't know how you got 1/4. I don't know how you got 3/4.
I don't know how you got 1/4.
Well, because if I take this 1 and I divide it by 4, it becomes 1/4.
I thought you divided the number that was in front of the y.
I did. I divided everything by 4.
Oh,
That's what I did. Good for you.
You said it was y equals 1/4 x. Wouldn't it be like x equals 1/4 y? Because it's like you like switched them.
No, I switched them on this step. Look right here.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I switched them on this step. And now I'm solving for y.
Oh, so you just like make it like.
Yep, and we're going to do another one. So just focus on what I'm saying. Now listen, here's the symbolism now, guys. Here's what I want you to write it. F -1 of x is equal to 1/4 x plus 3/4. So sometimes when you look in math books, they make it look so complicated, right? And it's really simple if you understand the notation, right? Like most people, they don't know what f to -1. They think that's something complicated. It's the symbol for what? I found the inverse. Everybody with me? So this f of x is the function that we started. This represents the inverse of this. That's what it's telling you. That's what it's telling you. All right? That's it. Quickly.
So for the answer, should you put that one or what?
Here, I'm just trying to make you smart. You hear me? So if you write this, this is technically the answer. This is in the proper symbolic form. They're both correct. All right? So those of you guys who want to be super smart, learn the symbols. For those of you guys who just trying to make it through, just put y equals. All right? Kind of silly. All right, here we go. Question number 2. So again, I want you to write it y equals negative 3x plus 7. First step is to do what? Switch x and y. So x equals negative 3y plus 7. Now, do I move the y this time?
Yeah.
Yes, because it's negative. So I'm going to move that over. So now I want everybody to be able to say that's 3y is equal to negative x plus 7. Right? Because I had to move the x. All right? I had to move the x away from the y. And now all I have to do is divide by what? 3. Now before I divided by 4, so now I'm going to divide by 3. Now you're going to get fractions again. So you would say y equals negative 1/3 x plus 7/3. F negative 1 of x equals negative 1/3 x plus 7/3. Simple, simple, simple. Connor Drinkard, still with me? The notation, this step or the step before that? Okay, so all I did was I changed out y to f of negative 1. And that's just the symbol for inverse, that's all. It's just a symbol. Hear me out. It's just a symbol to say I took the inverse. All right?
Okay, so for 1, when you said you had to, since it was negative, you had to move it over.
Right, I moved the y because the y is negative.
Okay, so and then the first problem you moved it to the right instead of the left.
Well, on the first one I moved the 3 over
Oh, okay.
because I want the y to stay positive. All right? All right, here we go. Let's check out number 3 now. All right, so save ourselves some time. X equals 3/2 y minus 8. So am I good with that? Now, should I move the y or should I move the 8? Move the 8. So x plus 8 equals 3/2 y. So am I good with that? Now, how do I undo a fraction?
Divide.
Multiply by the reciprocal. So this is an acceptable answer, guys. So y equals 2/3 times x plus 8. Now, could I distribute the 2/3 if I want? Yeah. Yes. Am I making you do that? No, it's because it's not necessary. Is everybody hearing me on that? That's important to understand the fractions. You could distribute the 2/3, but it's not necessary. Now, like I said, for all those you guys who are interested in math, you would write f negative 1 of x is equal to 2/3 parentheses x plus 8. All right? Let's do a couple more. Number 4. All right? So we're going to write for number 4, x equals 16 minus 1/3 y. Is everybody good?
Yeah.
So should I move the y or should I move the x?
Y.
Move the y. So it's going to be 1/3 y equals. Now, did I have to move the x?
Yes.
Yes. So it's negative x plus 16. Now, how do I get rid of 1/3? Multiply by 3. Very good. Multiply by 3. Yes. But you could do this, though. You could just say y equals 3 parentheses. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's just one.
Yep. Leave it like that. Yes.
When you said you have to multiply the reciprocal, like you only
Because 3 over 1. Okay? All right. And of course, f negative 1 of x is equal to 3 parentheses negative x plus 16. Yes, sir, James.
I don't get how it's just 3.
Well, the reciprocal of 1/3 is what? 3 over 1. And 3 over 1 is 3.
How come you write x is negative?
Somebody tell him.
It's
It's the same thing as y equals.
It's a
Just
symbol.
showing that you've done it.
It's the symbol for inverse.
It just looks
It's just,
fancier.
yeah, it just tells someone that what you've done in the problem, right? If you don't want to say f of x because there's already an f of x up here. So this f negative 1 means or it tells the person who you're communicating with that you've taken the inverse of f. All right, quickly, Allie.
Okay, if the fraction wasn't like
2/3,
yeah, sure.
then it would be 3/2.
So you must please.
You always just multiply by the reciprocal.
So then what do you multiply?
Here, there's another one coming up right over here. All right, and again, I'm going to multiply by what? By 5/2. Right? What am I going to multiply this one by over here? 1/3.
Oh.
Or you're going to say divide by 3.
Okay.
Dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1/3.
Oh, so if I divide by the
If you're dividing a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. That's
All right.
what kids forget. No, it's all right. When I first was showing you how to divide fractions, we write divided by, and then we say multiply by the reciprocal. That's how you solve a division. All right, so over here now, we're going to say x is equal to 3 times y minus 5. We're going to see that? Now you could distribute the 3, or I could just say I'm going to multiply by what? 1/3. All right, I personally like that. 1/3 x, though, I'm going to put something right over here. So we agree those are the same. 1/3 x and x divided by 3 you should know are the same. So now 1/3 x equals y minus 5. So now what? Now what? So it becomes what? That's right. So 1/3 x plus 5 equals y. So f -1 of x equals 1/3 x plus 5. Everybody happy? All right, one more. 6. All right. X equals -15 minus 2/5 y. Best thing to do is to do what? Move the which one? The y. So it becomes 2/5 y equals
X.
-x minus 15. Everybody good with that? And now, what's the reciprocal? Right? So 5/2 parentheses -x minus 15. That's all there is to it.
I kept thinking that you have to
Nope.
Yeah.
You can if you want.
no.
That's all there is. All right, is everybody good with that?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So like, why don't you have to like do fifth or with a fraction? Why do you like? I feel like I'm just confused on this one because like we did like it was 2/5 y and then we did y equals 5/2.
Because to get rid of this fraction here, listen to me one more time. To get rid of a fraction, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a 5/2. Why does that do this? That's what we're doing.
But on like the second step, it's still there.
Well, that's because I have to, in order to get rid of it, I have to do it to both sides.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
All right?
At the beginning, what's the point of like flipping them? Like, I just don't understand.
No, I know, because I tried to explain to you. There's some things like in math that you're just gonna. I mean, if I had my choice, I'd wait till about pre-calculus before I did inverses. But it's just kind of an introduction. That's all it is. You don't even know why, right? I mean, and it's kind of silly to teach things for just, but it's kind of because in the future someone will start talking to you about functions and they'll teach you about why it's important to do inverses. But we just, I don't have time to do that right now. All right, I don't have time. So in the future, inverses are very important. But right now, we're just kind of explaining what it is. All right, and that's the way I feel about with some math. You don't understand why you're using it. That's why people say, when are we ever going to use this? Well, you'll eventually, right, if you further, study, you'll see Everything is about math. Everything. All right. So again, now here is what I did while you guys were in DC. Right? They did this lesson already. So it's kind of review for them. All right. So honestly, if you thought it was easy, I wanted it to be easy. There's more problems to do, but I don't care about these problems because we have a test on Friday, and I finished the review. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to finish the review, but I was able to finish the review. I would much rather you do what? Study for the test. So I'm going to load up now on Google Classroom. I'm going to enter the review. All right. However, listen to me, guys. I try to make things look easy. I try to make it easy for you. But making it easy, and here's where some of you are having a problem. I can make it look easy, but then when you sit on your own, it's harder. Right? That's just the nature of it. Right? So you have to practice. So to me, and I was saying this, you could practice with the worksheets that we didn't do, or you could just review the problems that we did do. It doesn't get any harder than that on the test. Exactly what we did. Every example that's on this paper is on the test. Every single one. All right? So you have to understand that. Right? And if you don't understand something, that's why I'm trying to convince some of you guys. It honestly it has nothing to do with how smart you are. You're at a C or a B because that's the effort that you're giving me. That's it. All right, some of you are already better because I've been breathing down your neck, and so you've been trying to get it done. All right? It's not too hard. It is not too hard. Right? If you don't know, you're not going to know when you take the test. All right? So I like giving you 2 days to review. So you got tonight to do the review, and then tomorrow when we come to class, I'm going to start with problem number 1, and I'm just going to go through the whole review. Does everybody understand that? So if you're a BC student and you want to make your first A, you know how to do this review. If you can do every problem on the review, I promise you, you'll make an A. I promise you. If you can't do a problem on the review, you're not going to be able to do it on the test. I'm not tricking you. I'm really not. All right? This is way too important. You have to be a master of lines. All right? All facets of it. Writing them, graphing them, writing the inverse, all of it. You have to be good at it. Parallels, perpendiculars. All right? For those of you guys who are taking the Jesuit exam, I promise you this is a big part of it. I had an interview last year at the end of school, and they told me exactly what's on the test. That's why I'm kind of modifying a few things. All right? Get it done. Make sure you know it. All right? It'd be good if you ace their entrance exam. All right? So again, I'm going to pause this now, and then I'm going to send you the review. Do not waste time. I'm not playing around. You're not playing around in class. You're focusing, concentrating. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to hear anything go off on your iPad. You're really not supposed to be listening to music, and you're really not supposed to be doing YouTube. And I'm supposed to be having you monitored up here, so I can look at what you're doing. I don't have time for that. I'm not a good babysitter. All right? All I care about is you learning. And those of you guys who have B's and C's, you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. All right? And if you want to find out who's making an A and ask him, why are you, it's not the other person is so much smarter, I promise you. The other person is not so much smarter. They're just outworking you. That's all there is. That's the only difference. All right? So get busy. All right? No excuses. First test Friday. All right? And your semester grade is a accumulation of first quarter and second quarter. So even if you made a B, you can still make an A overall. All right? It's not a difficult thing to do. All right?